G'day guys, Charlie Matthews here from DEUTZ-FAHR New Zealand. We're out here with our Agrofarm 5 series. So this is our 5125, which is one of two tractors in this range. So we do the 105 horsepower smaller version and also the 125, which we have beside me here. So these tractors are sort of aimed at your general sort of farmers markets, whether that be on a dairy farm, sheep and beef, or even sort of the horticultural growing applications. Specifically designed to sort of target that front end loader work, that general utility farm work, whether that be feeding out, doing that sort of loading silage wagons, bale feeders, that sort of thing with the front end loader, or even just general work like topping paddocks or spraying or fertiliser. This tractor here is also fitted with our TopCon value line system, which we'll talk through a little bit later on, but that's an entry-level auto steer system to sort of make yourself more accurate when you're doing that spraying and spreading applications that a lot of farmers are starting to do themselves nowadays. So yeah, we'll jump in and have a closer look at some of the features on this tractor, and yeah, we'll go through it. So the Agrofarm 5 series features our well-known Farm Motion engine. So it's an engine built in-house by DEUTZ-FAHR. So it's a 3.8 litre 4-cylinder engine. They feature a nice flat torque curve, so for a 4-cylinder they do get very good torque characteristics, which lets them hang on nicely on the hills and when you're doing that sort of lower rev application work. Serviceability on them is very easy. Everything's accessible from ground level, so your air filters at the front, your engine oil is checked on a dipstick on the side that can be accessed without having to lift the bonnet. Yeah, for cleaning your radiators you've got screens as well as a condenser that slides out of this side. So the one-piece bonnet lifts up nice and high out of the way, so you can access your fuel filters and everything without having to remove extra panels, which makes your daily checks nice and easy. So obviously majority of these tractors are going to be going out with front-end loaders on them, so there's a few important characteristics for these tractors. Strong front axles is a main characteristic of this Agrofarm 5 series, so for the extra stress and load that goes on the tractor through the front axle when you are doing front-end loader work, they've got a nice strong front axle in them. They've common features across our 4-cylinder range that are also on this one, including our 4-wheel braking. So we've got oil immersed wet disc brakes out in the hubs, as well as our 100% front locking differential. So when your diffs are in, they're locked in and they you get the traction to the ground when you need it. The loaders themselves, so these tractors come Stoll loader ready from factory. So Stoll's one of the largest loader manufacturers in the world, European strong loaders, very well known throughout New Zealand. Common features on them include the self-levelling, the electronic boom suspension, nice wide bruff bucket on the front and a Euro hitch tool carrier, as well as third service standard. And then around the other side we've got our multi-coupler, so when you are removing the loader or putting it back on, it's nice and easy. It's all on one lever, you don't have to take the hoses off individually. So very easy to remove if you are doing any work that you don't require the front end loader. So around the back end of these tractors we feature a 55 litre a minute hydraulic pump with a separate steering pump. So when you're working with implements you're not going to lose any flow at the back when you are operating your steering. The lift capacity on these is just under 5.5 tonne, so they've got a very strong back end and 3-point linkage setup, which makes them more sort of versatile to more tasks. 4-speed PDO on the Agrofarm 5 series, so if you're doing any lighter work like spraying or anything like that, you can chuck it into that eco mode, run it at a lower rev and save a bit of fuel. 3 sets of remotes across the back, so you've got 3 pairs of hydraulic couplers, and they all have float and detent available on all 3 on the 5125, which just makes them a bit more versatile to run sort of those bigger implements. So with the Agrofarm range, it's been well known how well these tractors perform on the hills, and these tractors are no different. So the wheels, we spec these with nice wide rubber, and these also are available on adjustable wheels up to our 125 horsepower. So if you're working on that steep terrain, you can push wheels out for that extra stability, and yeah, just keep you nice and steady footed when you are working in those hilly environments. Lighting package on these tractors, so if you're working at night, these have a very good lighting package right around the cab. So you've got 4 work lights out the front that you can position to face outward more if you're mowing or anything like that at night, and then same at the back. As well as the big spotlights on the side, so when you're working with the loader you're not distracted by your lights on your bonnet. So yeah, you can really see what you're doing when you are working late at night. Galvanised steps, so that's something that we do locally in New Zealand to make sure these steps last as long as the tractor does. So we send them off and get them galvanised to protect them against the elements, so they're not going to rust and corrode and break away when you're climbing in and out of the tractor. So the cab on this tractor, it's a nice big 4-post frame, so nice and spacious inside. Comes with an instructor seat as standard as well. It's got the sunroof up the top, so when you're working with your front end loader, you can see all the way up into the high lifting point. Air conditioned with radio, all the nice comfort features that you do get with a cab. Nice big doors, so when you're getting in and out of the cab, you've got excellent access, so you're not obstructed by any sort of entrance. So it's easy if you're doing repetitive stuff, like if you're a fencing contractor or if you're in and out opening gates all day. It's nice and easy to climb in and out with the extra sort of access room. This tractor is fitted with our TopCon value line system, so hence we've got the electric steering wheel and the screen. But the configuration for the tractor itself features our DEUTZ-FAHR colour-coded operating platform. So we've got orange for our drive and transmission controls, blue for our hydraulics, green for our hitch, and yellow for our PDO. So with the transmission, forward reverse shuttle up on the left hand side here, as well as a little switch that lets you adjust the aggressiveness. So when you're doing any front end loader work, if it's too aggressive or too soft when you're shuttling that shuttle, you can adjust that to suit what sort of work you're doing. You've got 5 gears on the stick with a high-low splitter in each gear. So if you're working on hills or anything, you can grab another half a gear just to get you that power and torque to get it to the ground and keep the tractor moving. We've also got our 4 core ranges down here. So that gives us a high range, a low range, a creep, and a super creep. So if you're doing any slow work, if you're on a feed-out pad, or anything where you need to be going very nice and slow, you can drop it down in those low gears to let that tractor just crawl along nicely. You've got your comfort clutch button on the front of your joystick as well, so when you're changing gears you don't have to worry about the clutch pedal. Combined with our stop and go feature, where you can put your foot on the brake and that will automatically bring the tractor to a stop. You don't have to worry about engaging the clutch. And then when you release your foot off the brake, the tractor will re-engage drive and you're away and racing. 3 hydraulics across the side here, as well as our 4-speed PDO. Features an electronic hand throttle with 2 engine memory speeds, so if you're doing any repetitive work like mowing or anything like that, you can set your hand throttle, save a speed, and then next time you need to recall that speed, you just hit the button, it takes you up to the rev you need, and you can get straight into your work. Electronic linkage control over the side here, so nice and easy for setting your height for your rear point, 3-point linkage. And it's also got a quick lift and lower at the front here, so instead of having to move that dial, you can just lift it to the top and bottom just with the easy movement of that switch. Nice incorporated loader joystick on this tractor, so being loader ready from the factory, everything's integrated. And we've got a power shift button on the side of the loader joystick here as well, so when you're in and out of the pit, you can just shift up and down to give you a bit more speed to get that job done faster. So there you have it, that's a quick walk around of our Agrofarm 5125, which is part of our Agrofarm 5 series range. So if you're in the market for a general utility tractor for your farm, or you'd just like to find out a little bit more info about this tractor or any of the other tractors in our range, get on down to your local Power Farming New Zealand dealership, or jump online to deutz-tractors.co.nz.